I have with me today Nicholas Cogan, who's Director of International E-commerce for Walmart International. And Nicholas has a wide variety of experiences at Walmart, but his current role is really interesting and I would think very challenging because he has global experience and responsibility. And if you think about it, what we're talking today about, for example, final mile and omni-channel, this is a really challenging environment because each market is so different. Nick, would you mind just spending a few minutes talking a little bit about what you're responsible for before we get into it?
Yes, be happy to, and thanks for having me. It's always good to see you, Dr. Waller. I've got one of the most interesting roles I believe I've ever had in my life right now, dealing with all of our international markets, e-commerce, trying to learn and leverage those learnings across different markets. Of course, with the portfolio changes that we've had recently, it adds complexity, but it's been one of the most fulfilling roles I've had because it's just nonstop learning, testing, um, implementing, taking things we learned from one market, implementing them into another market, taking learnings from the U.S. and leveraging those across. And then COVID happens and everything changes and accelerates e-commerce and omni-channel to the point that we have never seen in the past. So what worked last year maybe wouldn't have worked 2 years ago. So it's been an amazing couple years, great learning experience as we grow our e-commerce and omni-channel footprints across the world. And I learn and grow with the markets as we adapt and test. It's been a lot of fun.
Well, Nicholas, I like to start with the very, very basics because, you know, we all are familiar with terms like final mile delivery and omni-channel, but sometimes how they're used varies across companies. So I'd like to start with you talking a little bit about your perspective of the meaning of omni-channel and final mile.
It's a great place to start. So we'll start with omni-channel. In the Walmart world and in retail, omni-channel is usually defined by the multiple methods in which we can get our goods or services to a customer. For Walmart, we've got our e-commerce where you can order online and have items delivered to you to your home. That's e-com. You've got our brick and mortar. We call it a brick and mortar stores. We have a large footprint across multiple markets where you can come and you can shop. You've also have the new kind of mixed channel online grocery pickup. In some areas, that's more of a new method, a new channel of delivery, and it's a great option. It's working very well in multiple markets where somebody can order items online and then come pick them up in the store. So those are the three main ways we think of omni-channel right now. And you've got the piece that you mentioned, the final mile or the last mile. So this is more of a, to me, it's a very interesting space. If we're not delivering, we can use a another company like Instacart, Corner Shop. There's multiple Uber's getting involved in this now in picking from the store and then delivering to the customer. And so when you think of final mile, that really last mile, that really is last mile. It's getting items to the customer from either a store, dark store, micro fulfillment center within a store. It's that process of getting the bags of groceries or the item to the customer's door, and that can happen in a multiple different methods. We're experimenting with automation, drones, partnerships. In the UK, in Asda, we have our own last mile fleet, and so there's a mix of how we can accomplish this last mile journey for the customer across our different markets.
Nick, of course, Walmart already had grocery pickup in the United States prior to COVID. But since COVID, I've seen the numbers. I don't remember the specifics, but the number of people who have started using pickup, Walmart pickup, has grown to a level that's unimaginable. And I would imagine, in your position with global experience, that probably varies across countries. Would you mind speaking to that a little bit?
Sure. So this has evolved from March last year, even before March last year in China. When COVID hit, um, we had to respond quickly. China specifically had to respond, and we were watching very carefully and working with China to try to figure out the best response to the lockdown. What didn't work in the past worked during COVID in China, and we'll talk about that a little bit. We attempted online grocery pickup in China, and just due to the nature of the large cities that we operate in, online grocery pickup is inconvenient. And on the flip side of that, delivery is much easier because you have many people living in a very small radius around our stores, and so you can actually hire people to deliver uh, much more easily than having a family come pick up their items and then carry them to a bus or carry them to a taxi or carry them 2 blocks down home. So online grocery pickup didn't work very well prior to COVID. When COVID hit, the last mile delivery organizations, partners that we had were at capacity and over capacity, and so we had to come up with options for people to get their groceries, and we did that in a variety of unique ways. But we found out that during COVID, online grocery pickup was an option that people were very interested in because they couldn't get a delivery slot, and so it opened up that online order. I don't have to be in the store very long. I can order this online and then come and pick it up without being around a bunch of other people. So it was a very safe option, and actually grew as a result of COVID. In
I
our
would like to interject something about
Yes.
Nick at this point that most of you don't know. Nick, earlier in his life, lived and worked in China and has studied the language. Um, and so when you're looking at some of these cultural issues as a leader in e-commerce, I think it makes a big difference to understand the culture as well.
Potentially, it doesn't hurt. Yeah, living in China for quite a few years, really understand how people shop, and I've experienced it. It's inconvenient to go to the store and pick things up with kids and then try to carry it back, even a block. So that I understand the issues, and I understand how the solutions work in the context. So it can be helpful. For Chile and Mexico and Canada, we ran into some different issues. We were also at capacity with our delivery, and so we had to think of new ways to deliver our items to our customers. We ended up for a short time taking deliveries by neighborhood. So we would gather around the neighborhood and do a neighborhood delivery because we were so short on capacity. And then we get a small van or something and deliver groceries to the neighborhood, to the apartment complex. Another issue we ran into was delivery slots. As soon as we open them up in the morning, they're all gone. And so if you're a shopper who orders some orders pickup or orders a delivery in the morning, you might get your delivery. But if you're a shopper who likes to shop in the afternoon, you miss out every day. And so it became a problem. How we solved that was we started metering delivery slots or pickup slots throughout the day. Instead of 100% capacity opening in the morning, we would do maybe 25% in the morning, and then throughout the day open new slots so we can capture more of those shoppers at different who have different habits. Did the same thing in Canada as well. But yeah, it's very interesting. Each market has a little bit of a different reality, and you have to be able to adjust to that reality. And the markets really have have come up with extremely clever solutions and share those solutions so that other markets can benefit quickly. And it's really one of the strengths of Walmart. We have a footprint all over the place. And what happened in China, what they did, we could learn from, adapt, tweak in Canada, in Chile, in Mexico, or in the UK, and then meet our customer needs much more quickly than if we didn't have the footprint that we do. So it was a great time for us to just learn and adapt quickly.
Well, this brings to mind customer relationship issues. In the past, when most Walmart shoppers went into the Walmart store and shopped and left, of course, Walmart has always been a leader in point of sale data, having that data available. And of course, Sam's Club, because you have membership, you not only know what sold, but you know who bought it and what are the things they bought in that basket. So there's really you had more information as a result of Sam's Club. But but now we're at a totally different level. You actually have people ordering online and having it delivered or picking it up. So you know a lot more about them. And how how is that dynamic changing the importance of the relationship with the customer?
Well, that's a very good question, and several projects that I'm working on right now are dealing with that exact issue. You've got two sets of data in our omni-channel world. You've got online data and orders, shopper information, affinity, basket, basket size, how often they shop. It really helps us understand our customer to a new level, to offer them good pricing on products they love at the right time, and then to marry that data with store shopping behavior, and really understand the omni view of a customer. It's something that's very unique, I think, to traditional brick and mortar retailer who's moved into the omni and online space. But to your point, the relationship with the customer has never been more important. And in understanding that data, those habits really allow us to leverage our knowledge to benefit our customer in ways that a tradition, maybe an online retailer couldn't, or a last mile delivery aggregator couldn't. Um, and so to Walmart in all of our markets, maintaining that customer relationship where they're using our app, they're using our website, they're ordering through us instead of an aggregator is extremely important. I think one of the most interesting developments in retail today is the existence of these super apps, the delivery aggregators, the Instacarts, the corner shops. Very fascinating area of development and where they're heading in the future, where all eyeballs will go through them, and a customer can purchase something from Aldi, Walmart, Kroger, all on the same app. It's a very fascinating space, and in some ways it benefits traditional retailers in that we're reaching new markets, reaching new customers potentially. But in other ways, the traditional retailer has to be concerned about those apps, those aggregation companies. Are they taking eyeballs away from our app? From Are they taking customer relationships away from us? So there's that. There's two sides to the coin, and the concern for the retailer would be we want to maintain that customer relationship, so we have visibility into the purchasing, the shopping patterns, so that we can make those connections across omni and online and really offer the value that only we would be capable of offering to those customers. And so if I'm going to predict the future, I would say in the future there will be a movement for regular brick and mortar retailers to find a reliable partner for last mile that is not necessarily taking customer relationships away from those retailers. That's future state. Right now, I think in some of our markets we have to rely on them, and it's a mutually beneficial relationship. It totally makes sense for now, but in the future, I do see that as a need, as a gap in in the last mile space for a reliable partner who can scale quickly and efficiently and just provide that store to customer home solution.
Sounds like a big opportunity. Well, I'd like to shift gears a little bit here. You know, this omni-channel approach has created a lot of opportunities for Walmart and other companies, but it's also created a lot of complexity. You now, instead of a supercenter just being a supercenter, it's also a pickup spot. It's also, which requires picking operations in the store. It's also a distribution center, if you will. And so the functions of the store have dramatically increased. And I would think that would also mean that the complexity of the stores has increased. Is that right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's an interesting problem or challenge to try to overcome, because if you shopped recently, you'll run into people that are picking and they'll have multiple baskets, and you're competing now with people who are shopping online to get to your items in the store. So how do we balance the customer need to shop online or do online grocery pickup with the customers who want to visit the store, uh, in person, and they don't want to get bonked into by these baskets, or compete with these pickers to get to the items. So there are a variety of solutions that our markets have come up with to solve this challenge. You'll see in Chile, they've dedicated a certain time to picking. They'll pick early in the morning when we don't have customers there. Or other solutions are there's a dedicated picking space, maybe in the back room with the most common items. So you go to the back room, you pick the top, 90% of items, and then the remainder 10% you would quickly go and get in the store. So it reduces the picking traffic in the store. Um, there, there's also micro fulfillment. We're testing and moving forward with in Canada some automated micro fulfillment on top items in the back rooms to avoid issues with running into shop with our pickers running into shoppers. Dark stores have been a solution in some areas. We've expanded that in Chile. Sam's Club China has something they call the cloud, where they've got fulfillment centers located around the Sam's Clubs to try to reduce the number of pickers inside the clubs in our warehouses. There's a variety of methods that we are employing to try to solve these complexities that new customer demands have created for us, and they're good problems. It's an increase in demand. It's a great problem to deal with. It's a great challenge to deal with. But there's a variety of methods we've employed to attempt to address those issues.
I know Walmart has really stepped up the game in terms of product management, meaning, you know, um, using an agile approach to addressing customer journey issues, empathy mapping with the customer, using design thinking kind of approaches in the whole process. And you all have, as you said, you've come up with apps to do all kinds of things in different ways in the store for associates, but also for customers. In fact, I read recently that Walmart's app for consumers has is now the number one most downloaded. I don't know if what the category would be. I think it would be e-commerce or shopping app.
Yeah, yeah, we beat Amazon. I think as a result of COVID, it pushed us probably 5 years into the future within a year, or 7 or 8 months. But yes, we are definitely experimenting with our apps. We are looking at solutions for our customers in the store. We're looking at some really interesting ways to solve customer problems. I wish I could share the roadmap with you, but whenever I'm shopping, our customers are in the store shopping. They have a cell phone in one hand and they have the cart in the other, and they're shopping. They're looking at their lists. So integrated lists, mapping, optimized route planning. There are a lot of things we can do to reduce the friction of a customer shopping experience. I mean, there's some fun things coming, and it's only gonna get better with our tech teams. We've got some pretty impressive minds at work with products, so you'll see some fun items coming pretty soon. That's just thinking about the customer shopping experience. We're also working on apps that can crowdsource pickers and delivery drivers. So we become the crowdsourcing app, and all somebody would have to do is download our app, and they can come and they could pick for our customers in our store, and they do that through the app that we've created, and I believe that's in Chile and Mexico. We're developing those options out, so it's only gonna accelerate. It's a fun time to be in retail. There's never a dull day, and every day you're amazed at what else we can do.
Well, Nick, this has been really insightful and interesting. Thank you for taking time to visit with us about omnichannel e-commerce and final mile delivery. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Dr. Waller. Happy to do it anytime I get a chance to talk with people from my alma mater. I will jump on it. Thank you very much.